first question that I want to ask you. When you first started teaching, what was like technology used? Like how was it used with teaching? Was it very extensive, or was it sort of kind of bare bones minimum where, maybe it was more of a gimmick than it was actually used like every day in the classroom?
I would not say when I started teaching it was a gimmick at all.
Mm,
It was already used very extensively. I started teaching about a decade ago. So at the time, the technology that I was using the most, that I expect a lot of the teachers were using the most, was D2L. I was a grad student at the time, just kind of getting used to what is teaching. So I mainly just stuck with using D2L. I think the transition to Canvas was definitely helpful. I think it's a lot more user-friendly of a platform, although D2L has changed in the meantime, for sure.
what can you remember it being like before COVID sort of came in?
Maybe it was less expected to
Mm,
be such a pervasive thing in classes. We were
mm,
on Zoom for a long time. Everything had to be moved online if it wasn't already online. I think before that, it was maybe a little bit more normal to have work
right.
you were doing on paper more frequently.
Did you feel detached from the students? Did you kind of feel like teaching was harder? Like what was it like?
There was stress involved with just being unfamiliar with Zoom. The
Hmm.
control, one of the big stressors for me was I teach a lot of math or math-based classes. How do I show that math? It's
Yeah.
not as easy as when it's at the board. In terms of connecting with students, I wouldn't say it was the technology that made it feel like it was harder to connect. I think it was just such a tough time.
So in a way, you would say that in some aspects, it actually kind of improved the relationship that you were able to build with the students, where students felt more comfortable reaching out if they had like questions or if they had answers.
Mhm.
It was more, I guess you could say, relaxing or less stressful for them to do so.
I definitely think that was a nice thing to find, that there are certain ways to communicate with students that maybe is less stressful. I think that was a good thing to find, a valuable tool to have.